Well, hello everyone, and welcome here to FNL Gridiron. We're presented by Beals Insurance here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Nick Anastas, Steve Beals with you as we head down the stretch. Championship weekend in Division 2, in Division 3, in Division 4, and the Final Four semifinals in Division 1. We've got it all covered tonight. Jam-packed show. We will welcome in not one, not two, but three head coaches tonight. A lot of coach talk on the eve of the big battles. Our broadcast schedule this weekend looks like this. Tomorrow night, we are in Bedford, Division One semifinal. Top seed Bedford plays host to Nashua South. We have both head coaches coming on the program later on tonight. Saturday afternoon, we'll be broadcasting on behalf of the NFHS Network, covering the Division II state championship game. It'll be played at a neutral site, Pinkerton Academy, as Souhegan looks to go back to back under head coach Robin Boquette. Trinity is the opponent. That kickoff on Saturday is 1 o'clock. Coach Boquette has carved some time out of his very busy schedule tonight to join us in just a few minutes. And of course, Friday's broadcast is on the NFHS network as well. All those broadcasts will be released on our YouTube channel 48 hours later. That's per the NHIAA rules. So you want to see it live, NFHSnetwork.com is the site. You want to wait 48 hours, watch it for free, stick with us on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Steve, this is the big weekend. If you are Coach Boquette, if you're Coach Cathcart, if you're one of those teams in Division 3 or 4, this is it. And in Division 1, as we know, one ticket on the line to next weekend's Division 1 state championship. So a lot to get to here over the next hour on the program. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, my friend. Had a little shoulder problem that I'm working through, but I could still take Rob Boquette if I had to. I mean, it's not that bad. So in fairness of time here, I obviously, as we agree before the show, we have to give Coach Rob time to grill me. So I'm going to go pretty quick on this entry thing as we go in because we want to get him on right away. Congratulations to Rob Boquette and his team for having an undefeated, incredible season. Absolutely incredible season. Things are happening good there. But Trinity, game that we did, Nick, last Saturday, what a honey of a game that was. You can see that on our channel now. We did it on NFHS, as you said earlier. What a game. And they're going to face Trinity. Comes out victorious against Plymouth there. What an incredible game, right down to the wire. We saw some athleticism from Ben Valenti, from Davey Deleppo, Ollie. Unbelievable. Just incredible play on the field by both teams. What a great game. Have no reason to expect this game that we're going to be doing this weekend, which I'm honored to do, is going to be incredible at Pinkerton Academy. One quick thing I just want to mention, Nick, the Division 3 finals will not be played in Laconia. That will be played in Exeter. That's my understanding. If that's yours, I know you keep track of that. Yeah, as far as that's concerned. So we are in. I'm going to pretty much stop it there. We can talk about Division 1 throughout the show. It's incredible. All I can just emphasize is how about Salem? Team coming, getting better every single year. We saw them so many times this year. We knew they were improving. And this young quarterback, Van Mason, kind of comes in last minute. We'll talk about that later as well. Looking forward to a good show, Nick.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't be at two places at once. The other Division 1 semifinal tomorrow night is in Pinkerton as the Astros play host to Salem. That is a Week 3 rematch. That was actually a game we covered way back in September. So Pinkerton, after losing three straight to close out the regular season, they rebound after a bye week in the first round with a quarterfinal victory over Wyndham. Big second half there for the Astros as they're back on the winning track. And, of course, Salem has won now 6 straight, including 2 tournament wins over Portsmouth and then at Memorial, sending shockwaves throughout the state. So Salem and Pinkerton on one half of the Division I semifinal bracket. The other half is Bedford and Nashua South. Coach Porter is coming up in about 20, 25 minutes or so, and Coach Matthews will help us to close down the show as Bedford looks to get back to the championship game for the third time in 4 seasons. All right, we'll take a break. We'll get Coach Boquette on the other side. First of 3 head coaches to join us tonight. Coach Boquette's got Souhegan on the verge of a back-to-back Division II championship. We'll talk to Coach next. You are watching our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire FNL Gridiron broadcast here on Friday Night Lights New Hampshire. We are presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Maybe it's leaning too close to your home. Maybe it's not healthy. Or maybe you just don't like it there. No matter what the reason is, if you need tree work or pruning, call Accurate Tree Service. They have the right equipment and expertise to properly diagnose, treat, or remove trees, no matter how difficult the terrain. Perhaps simple, careful pruning by our certified arborist is all you need to manage your trees and shrubs. When it comes to your tree care, contact the full-service tree care experts today, Accurate Tree Service, because you only get one chance to take a tree down right.
Are you a quarterback who is ready to take your game to the next level? Well, then it's time to join TKQB Academy. Founded by former UNH standout Trevor Knight, TKQB Academy has worked with student athletes from around New England, helping young quarterbacks to reach their full potential. TKQB Academy offers one-on-one and group sessions that will help you instantly improve your accuracy, timing, mechanics, and footwork. So be the best QB you can be at TKQB Academy. Call 603-732-7194 or reach out on Instagram at TKQBA. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include discount tickets, cards, and calendar raffles to hundreds of local merchants throughout the New England area. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
Back here on FNL Gridiron, Nick Anastas, Steve Beals. We're presented by Beals Insurance, and we're live every Thursday at 5:30 Eastern Time. Next week, may have to figure that out because of Thanksgiving falling on Thursday, but we do plan to have a show early on in the week. We are waiting momentarily for the arrival of Coach Robin Boquette of Souhegan. The Sabres are undefeated, looking for a second straight championship on Saturday. They'll have to face a very hot and a very good Trinity Pioneer football team at the finish line. That Division II final comes your way Saturday at 1 o'clock. We will be broadcasting on behalf of the NFHS Network in conjunction with the NFHS Network. That website is nfhsnetwork.com. Later in the show, we preview the Division I semifinal between Bedford and South with both head coaches. Josh Porter back on about 15 minutes or so, and Coach Matthews from Bedford returns as well. We're slated to speak with them, with Coach Matthews at 6:15, Coach Porter 6 o'clock, and again, waiting on the imminent arrival of Coach Robin Boquette. I know he's juggling some things at practice. There's some media there as well, so Coach, very busy tonight on the eve of the big battle, but he will join us momentarily. Steve, I know we've got a lot of ground to cover. We'll obviously pepper those two coaches, those three coaches with questions, but what are the big things you're watching for this weekend, regardless of game, regardless of matchup? What is it that you're really looking for here on the second to last weekend in football season?
Well, in Division One, it's going to be how the lines stack up in the game that we're doing with South and Bedford. One thing I saw last week, BG has an outstanding offensive and defensive line, no question. And South was able to win that battle. That speaks volumes to me about how a team is going to be able to hang in there with the Bedford Bulldogs. They are powerful. They're loaded. One coach texted me last night. They're just loaded from top to bottom. And they are a fierce competitors as well. And Zach Matthews does an unbelievable job. Don't let anybody kid you. Getting those troops together. He's got Sean Donahue as his defensive coordinator. You can't beat those guys unless you have the trenches that will work. The other thing that I'm looking for is how the great athletes on Nashua South stand up to the great athletes on Bedford. If last week against against Bishop Girton is any indication of how good their skill athletes are, I think they're probably in good shape, Nick, to be honest with you. These guys are incredible. I hear people saying that Bedford's going to win by 40 points. I have other people think the South's going to win. I don't think either one of those are likely. I think we're in for a battle, and it was a very tough. We're forced now, because every game has to be Friday night, we're forced to have to pick a game. Nobody wants to do that this semifinals year, especially, because these are two games that are phenomenal. I do think we picked a game that has the potential of obviously being an absolute shootout on both sides. That's what I see in that game. Let's talk real quick about Salem and just drew a blank here. What am I doing? That's Pinkerton. Salem and Pinkerton. How can I forget Pinkerton? Salem and Pinkerton. That game is going to be a very interesting game, and I say it's very unknown only because of the fact that Pinkerton by no means is the team they were 3, 4, and 5 weeks ago. They are back to health. Coach O'Reilly's got his group in line, and they showed to beat Wyndham by that kind of margin last week, Nick, is just unbelievable when you think about it. That game was 34-6 against that Wyndham defense. My gosh, how good is that offense now? I think they're solid. The problem is this Salem doesn't seem to give a darn who they play. They played Memorial last week. Forced a lot of frustration, I heard, in the game with Memorial with penalties and things of that nature that were based on really frustrating environment to play that game because Salem was just cooking on all cylinders. That was a close matchup. To be honest with you, I think most people favored Memorial, but Salem just keeps on undoing what everybody thinks is going to happen week to week. I'm not sure I can stop here. I got to favor Pinkerton in that game as far as what you've seen and as far as just kind of the fact they're at home and everything. But there's something about that rivalry that we look back over the many years we've been doing games, Nick, where there's something about that rivalry. It doesn't matter which field they're playing at. There just seems to be parity there. Van Mason, one of the biggest stories in Division I, in my opinion. This kid comes in as a sophomore, not even expected to play quarterback, and then I believe it was in the second week of the season, gets kind of like thrown in there and saying, you are it, due to another quarterback not continuing to participate on Salem's program. Steve Abraham has an extremely tall task along with the OC and being OC duties and everything. And look at what that man has done. The decisions that he makes not to do out in that field are really that of like a seasoned veteran out there. And I heard he was incredible as far as a technically sound in that game. I haven't got a chance to see that game. I have no access to it. I'd like to, and I will. But that's going to be an incredible matchup as well. And I think you probably say that Pinkerton goes in there a favorite. I think Bedford's probably a favorite too. That's why they have those seeds. But I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if there was an upset on either end. End. So that's just what I see as far as that game, if that's what you're talking about. Congratulations, by the way, to Bishop Girton. Congratulations to Winnicott. Congratulations to who else are we missing here? Manchester Memorial and Wyndham. How about those teams getting in the final 8? Congratulations to those programs. Hopefully they'll be back next year getting stronger than ever. But I just don't like to forget those teams that are not there now, but they gave us a heck of a lot of excitement and made their communities proud.
Yeah, well said. And in Salem's case in particular, the only team in either the Division I or Division II tournament thus far that has found a way to win on the road as the
Yes.
lower seed. They get
Don't
it
seem
done
to care.
over Memorial 24-17, the final in that quarterfinal win over the Crusaders. So again, Salem still alive as a 7 seed and hoping for one more road victory this weekend.
What a season.
In Derry.
What a season. What a coaching job by Coach Abraham and his staff this year. You have to give them all the credit in the world without question. And one thing about Salem, Nick, is they have a guy that can change a game when he's in zone. And Mr. Jordan Zanini, when that guy is on cue, I don't know, you saw him going against Wyndham that time. He was going back one of the best defenses in the league. And his ability to get free, they give him just a crack of space, Nick. He can change the outlook of a game. I'm sure Coach O'Reilly knows that, and he's going to have to throw a lot of resources to him. So,
yeah,
and I'm sure he will. Aiden McDonald, let's look at the 4 quarterbacks. Bennett Matthews, Cody Jackson, Aiden McDonald. Who wouldn't have thought they probably would be in the semifinals? But when you look down that list and you see Van Mason there, this kid is something. And Coach has got him for this year and the next 2. Unbelievable. What a great job.
Yeah, future bright for sure with Salem win or lose tomorrow night. Other piece of news to get to, the 3 finalists in the Joe Ukeka chapter, football, New Hampshire chapter, football player of the year. So the Ukeka award, basically statewide, regardless of the division, the voters have spoken, at least so far. We're down to 3 finalists. The overall winner will be announced, I believe, next week, but we have 3 finalists now to look at, and all 3 are going to be in action this weekend. Ryan Rodalunas of Sauhegan, their tailback, their middle linebacker, ran for over 1,400 yards. He is one of the finalists, and congratulations there to the senior. And in Division I, Brody Helton, who has been on the radar for the last several years, really an outstanding running back, as we know, for Bedford, one of their linebackers, one of their tackle leaders on defense as well. No big surprise that Brody Helton is one of the final 3 for the Ukeka Player of the Year. And then the final finalist, the third and final finalist, is Cody Jackson, the aforementioned Nashua South quarterback, who's been shredding defenses with that arm all season. So Helton, Jackson, Rodalunas, the 3 finalists for the Ukeka Player of the Year, and that announcement will come our way next week. So congratulations to those 3 finalists for sure. All right, it does not look like, unfortunately, Coach Boquette is going to be able to join us tonight. There's an internet issue over in Amherst. However, we do have Coach Porter on deck. Nashua South looking to extend their season with what would be an upset win on the road at Bedford. Can the Purple Panthers do it? We ask Coach Porter next. You are watching our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week and FNL Gridiron, presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Maybe it's leaning too close to your home. Maybe it's not healthy. Or maybe you just don't like it there. No matter what the reason is, if you need tree work or pruning, call Accurate Tree Service. They have the right equipment and expertise to properly diagnose, treat, or remove trees, no matter how difficult the terrain. Perhaps simple, careful pruning by our certified arborist is all you need to manage your trees and shrubs. When it comes to your tree care, contact the full-service tree care experts today, Accurate Tree Service, because you only get one chance to take a tree down right.
Are you a quarterback who is ready to take your game to the next level? Well, then it's time to join TKQB Academy. Founded by former UNH standout Trevor Knight, TKQB Academy has worked with student athletes from around New England, helping young quarterbacks to reach their full potential. TKQB Academy offers one-on-one and group sessions that will help you instantly improve your accuracy, timing, mechanics, and footwork. So be the best QB you can be at TKQB Academy. Call 603-732-7194 or reach out on Instagram at TKQBA. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include discount tickets, cards, and calendar raffles to hundreds of local merchants throughout the New England area. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
Back here on FNL Gridiron, Nick and Ask Steve Beals with you on the eve of the Division II State Championship, the Division I semifinals. Glad to have you aboard. We'll speak with Coach Matthews of Bedford coming up. Bulldogs playing host to Nashua South tomorrow night. We'll have the broadcast. We'll be broadcasting in conjunction with the NFHS network. So if you are planning to watch that game live, subscribe and visit nfhsnetwork.com. nfhsnetwork.com is the website. Of course, we will release the broadcast on our YouTube channel 48 hours later. That's in compliance with the NHIAA bylaws. Saturday, same deal. nfhsnetwork.com, 1 o'clock the kick between Trinity and Sauhegan. That is the Division II state championship game. And we wish both those teams, the Sabres and the Pioneers, good luck. All right, let's bring him in. Josh Porter, returning to the show, the Nashua South first-year head coach, has got the Purple Panthers in the semifinals for the first time, I believe, Coach, in over a decade. It's been a while, but the program back where it needs to be on the road against Bedford, looking for one more win this weekend. Coach, how are you tonight?
Good, dude. Doing great. Thanks for having me on again. I appreciate it, fellas.
Love it.
Thanks for coming on. Before we preview the matchup with the Bulldogs, take us back to the quarterfinal victory over crosstown rival Bishop Girton. Coach, you and I texted a little bit off air. You said you were proud of the way your kids played. They were lights out, quote unquote, limited the penalties, limited the mistakes, and ultimately put up 31 points in a victory over a very good Bishop Girton Cardinals team. Your summary of that quarterfinal win and what it meant to the program.
Yeah, definitely a great performance by the boys. Couldn't be more proud of how we played. It was a clean football game, pretty much for all 48 minutes, which is what we strive for, right? We wanted to come out, start fast in that game, as opposed to how we did in the regular season, and that played huge dividends for us as the game played out, right? We came out offensively, just kind of gelling. We've been in a groove the last 4 or 5 weeks or whatever it might be at this point. Doing a great job on offense, just taking whatever the defense is giving us, protecting the football and churning out drives, whether that's 10, 12 play drives or we're getting big explosives and we're scoring quickly. We've been kind of able to do a little bit of everything on that side of the ball. But make no mistake, a big contribution is the way we've been playing defense the last few weeks. Just talking with the boys earlier today, when we do our job of limiting X plays of our opponents, we're holding some very good offenses the last 3 weeks to 14 points, which is crucial down the stretch, right? So very excited about how we're playing. I think we're coming together at a right time, and we're looking to continue that going into this week for sure.
Coach, I've got two names I would like you to elaborate upon on defense since you brought it up. Jordan Tripp had the big game-changing play in that second quarter, interception, flip field position, set you up to take a 2-score lead in that first half, and he's just been outstanding all season long. Big kid as well, I think 6'3" or 6'4". And then Ray Karuru. Seems like every time there's a gang tackle, he's the last one up from underneath the pile. He's got a handful, half a dozen, 7 or 8 tackles, depending on the game. Just an animal defensively. Talk about those two seniors and what they have meant to the defense. And what do you expect from them tomorrow night against Bedford?
Yeah, I'll start with Josh Tripp. He's incredible, right? He's kind of our quarterback back there as our post safety, making our coverage checks. He covers so much ground back there. You mentioned his length. He's 6'3". He's flying. He covers so much ground. I mean, he's a legitimate 4.5 kid, and he plays smart as well. Just he studies, watches a ton of film, allows him to play even faster. So in the back end coverage wise, we call him the eraser, if you will. And then even that, he's flying down the alley, making tackles all over the place. He's our second leading tackler on the team as free safety, which is incredible. And then moving on to Ray Karuru, he's put together very impressive, 4 or 5 games here that's been a true catalyst for us. Whether it's hustling on the backside of plays, chasing him down, doing his job in the run game, taking on kick-out blocks if he's on the front side of it, and even getting after the quarterback. I think one of the another turnover we forced outside of Josh's interception was that strip sack we had late on Nate Bowen, gave us the ball back, which then allowed us to get into our 4-minute drill and kind of close out that game, which was a fantastic play. I know it's a drill we work pretty much every week, and he finally got an opportunity to run by and get on the arm of the quarterback and get that ball out. So I know he was happy to see that translate to the field for sure.
Yeah. And, Coach, as well as your defense has played during this win streak, Cody Jackson, a quarterback, has been consistent all season long. Of course, made a name for himself last year as a junior and seemingly has just gotten better and better week in and week out here throughout his senior campaign. How much do you rely on him offensively, off the field as well? I'm sure he's one of the leaders, but just how important has he been to the program over the last couple of years?
I really, it's tough to put that measure into words, right? He's been absolutely fantastic since the moment he stepped in the program. Like you mentioned, his ability on the field speaks for itself, whether he's throwing the ball with accuracy in his quick game or stretching the field vertically, or what he does in the ground game with his feet. He's been tremendous. One of the biggest attributes for him is his ability to make decisions and see what the defense is giving us and, dissect what they're doing and make a decision pre and post snap. And he protects the football, for as much as we throw the ball, he only has 2 or 3 interceptions on the entire year, which is incredible. Right. And that's a huge part of our success. Off the field, he's an incredible leader. I was talking about this in the off season, I think with Tom King, he's a kid that leads by example. He'd be in lacrosse season, going to practice and then getting out of lacrosse, make sure to come in and get his football workout in. And then he stays after that and helps mentor the 7th and 8th graders coming in that we're trying to onboard into the lifting program and just being a mentor for those guys. And his leadership running the offense and operating it, right? Like I like to say we have all these playmakers on the perimeter and you got Sam who's running hard and the O-line is kind of the engine and Cody's the one driving it all and he makes it all happen for sure. So we're incredibly lucky to have him and, so proud of the work that he's put in and seeing the results that he's had this year. It's been very, very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Steve?
Absolutely. Coach, thanks for coming on again. It was one of the most enjoyable games to watch a young man, the whole team, both teams, for a matter of fact. But to watch Cody Jackson, I wrote down some couple of things. What a lot of people overlook is how well, you talk about driving the offense, cadence, and how well they're able to keep a defensive line, off of their game. And be able to make sure his offensive line gets clear, concise language to be able to make sure they're all firing off at the same time. I was watching that little game in between the game, and I was amazed about how well he handled that. The amount of penalties you had in that area was incredible. What are your thoughts on that? Because it's something that I noticed that he handles as well as anybody.
Yeah. Operationally, right? He runs the operation very smooth. It's something he's been doing the last 3 years for us. And he does an amazing job with it, communicating, right, whatever the play call is to the offensive line, the blocking scheme or what that is, and being effective with it. We're a team that definitely wants to push tempo and move fast, and that was definitely evident in that quarterfinal game. when we're rolling the way we can, is a lot of times the teams can't even get set up defensively in time for us, and we take pride in that for sure, because that's something we hang our hats on, whether we're conditioning in the off season or our tempo at practice. We're clicking when we're snapping the football and the defense isn't set yet, for sure, and Cody
Absolutely.
is a huge instrument in that.
To me, it's like tuning the top dead center when you're rebuilding an engine on the timing. He just the timing was flawless the other night. Another couple things I noticed: not one telegraph pass. Every single pass, he was looking in the right spot in order to create that extra 3/4 of a yard to a yard of space with the receivers out there. I think this is going to be a critical part of if he has success against the Bedford Bulldogs, because one thing I noticed about him, he's got those two things. He doesn't telegraph passes and has an extremely quick release and a snap on the football that gets it to the receivers. Your thoughts on that? Is that something that he's had all along, or is he just at a whole different level now?
Yeah, I mean he's improved each season with it as well, but he's always been very good with that. His decision making, he's very decisive and fast thinker, so that helps. And as he's matured and over the years, he's become more and more accurate in placing the ball. Where there's run after the catch ability and all that, and he does a fantastic job with that, and it sets up guys like Justin and Colvin and Josh and some of our other guys that. We're not just catching the ball and getting tackled. They're able to make some moves and I'm a big throw short, run long if we can, right? It's an extension of the run game, especially this time of year as the weather gets worse,
Absolutely.
Colder, windy, whatever it is.
Bedford Bulldogs, powerhouse team, 9-0. No one's going to try to say what is obvious out there. They are an incredible football team. But one of the things I notice you guys have against really the top level linemen is you still are able to sustain a quality pass rush. What are your thoughts about that? What are the sort of things that you've got to do right with Bedford defensively and offensively? In your thought, what are the things you've got to come out and you say, hey, we have to ace this, guys, in order to have an opportunity to win this game?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, with the quarterback like Bennett, you got to be able to pressure him, but most importantly, you better keep your pass rush lane, because if you lose contain, he's gonna take it to the house on you, right? He's a guy with a little bit of space. He's very dangerous with his legs. So it's a blended mix of trying to speed him up a little bit, not giving him all day to throw because you have those receivers that do a good job getting open. But then we got to contain him. Right. And pass rush lane integrity is huge, right? Making sure if you're a front hip type of guy or a back hip rusher, you're staying true to that and not dipping your head the wrong way or whatever that might be. That's definitely been a huge point of emphasis for us this week and something we struggled with in week 2. So we're trying to learn from that. And each week we look at what we did poorly with and learn and grow, right? Growth, and it's showing. The boys have been applying that mentality and being able to have receptive feedback and get better each week, and it's definitely showing. So credit to the boys for that.
How do you stop Brody Helton?
Got to get hats to the party, man. He runs hard. He runs hard. He runs fast. I don't know if there's such a thing as stopping Brody or stopping Bennett, right? It's can we slow him down?
Right.
Just enough, right? Try and at least limit the X plays, right? Where, if you let him chip away, but we can't give up the 20, the 30, the 40 yard run type of deals. Those are the back benders. We got to make them earn it. Right. And, that's going to come with discipline, everybody doing their job on the defense, lineman assignment football, doing their responsibilities. And then, like I said, just hats to the football, whether you're on the back side of the play pursuing there, or on the front side of it. We gotta get there in a hurry and with a lot of hats for sure.
Seems to be last point I was going to make, Coach, seems to be incredible in communication coming from upstairs down on the field. Being on the sidelines in the past, when you get that help and that information, what can you say about those guys? Because there were adjustments made from possession to possession. The heck with quarter to quarter, half to half. I saw about 4 different adjustments against BG's offense. And I never have seen Nate Bowen as frustrated as he was last game. I think Nick would agree. Nate just kind of ran over everybody for the most part that he saw throughout the year, but not last week. What can you say about your staff? I could listen to you talk as a coach for hours, to be honest with you. You give it straight talk all the time. Tell us about your assistant staff and the group that you got supporting you out there.
Yeah, well, I appreciate
really
that.
Good.
Definitely. And one of the overlooked things, right, is we're a new staff. We got some guys that stuck around with Coach Knight and turning over, and then I got a lot of new guys and new staff on board, and we've gelled really a lot over the last couple of weeks, which has been fantastic. The booth is a huge part of the game, right? That's that eye in the sky. They have the best vantage point up top there, and I know that personally because the last 4 years I've been in the booth myself. Before coming into this new role, and that was my first time actually 4 years ago being up top and seeing the game from there, and I loved it. So I know it's been nice having that communication, and Coach JB and B-Bot, they do a fantastic job up there. Whether that's offense, defense, if BG is a team that uses a lot of personnel packages, so we got to make sure we're on top of that. Are they in their heavy personnel sets? Are they in their spread? They have receivers on the field. Are they bringing in their tight end and fullback, whatever that is, and just being locked into the game and understanding how the team's trying to attack us and what we can do to combat it. But big thing for us, we want to keep it simple and play fast. Right. Mm-hmm. The boys are thinking they're going to play slow. And, we learned that a long time ago, right? It's not what we know. It's what the kids know, and just really let them fly around and make plays and believe in their ability and do that. So that's what we've been trying to do the last, that second half of the season, really.
Well, I'll just close with this, Rob. One of the things that, to me, you guys are going to have to do is hang around in the first quarter or better. But I think if you go in there with a second half with a kind of adjustment that you made against BG, that's been a big key against Bedford, because if you don't make the adjustments against Bedford in the second half, if you look throughout their success through the year, it's been heavy-duty second half. And if last week's any indication of how you do against another strong team in the second half, you guys have been doing it week after week now. I totally agree. You've been in a groove the last 4 or 5 weeks. I love this game. Can't wait to be up top. Give us a wave. Congratulations on what you got so far, and we look forward to seeing a war here on Friday night.
Should be a fun one for sure. I'm looking forward to it. I've been staring at the clock all week, really. I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys having us on. Yes, thank you, and we'll see you guys.
What a program! What a program!
Yeah. Good stuff, Coach. Thank you again, and good luck tomorrow.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
That's Coach Porter. On the eve of the big semifinal battle, joining us from Nashua South at Bedford tomorrow night. Bulldogs are undefeated. They need one more win to get back to their third state championship game in the last 4 years. How do they do it? We'll find out from Coach Matthews on the other side of the break. You are watching FNL Gridiron, presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Maybe it's leaning too close to your home. Maybe it's not healthy. Or maybe you just don't like it there. No matter what the reason is, if you need tree work or pruning, call Accurate Tree Service. They have the right equipment and expertise to properly diagnose, treat, or remove trees, no matter how difficult the terrain. Perhaps simple, careful pruning by our certified arborist is all you need to manage your trees and shrubs. When it comes to your tree care, contact the full-service tree care experts today, Accurate Tree Service, because you only get one chance to take a tree down right.
Are you a quarterback who is ready to take your game to the next level? Well, then it's time to join TKQB Academy. Founded by former UNH standout Trevor Knight, TKQB Academy has worked with student athletes from around New England, helping young quarterbacks to reach their full potential. TKQB Academy offers one-on-one and group sessions that will help you instantly improve your accuracy, timing, mechanics, and footwork. So be the best QB you can be at TKQB Academy. Call 603-732-7194 or reach out on Instagram at TKQBA. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include discount tickets, cards, and calendar raffles to hundreds of local merchants throughout the New England area. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
Final stretch here on FNL Gridiron. We are presented by Beals Insurance. Nick Anastas along with Steve Beals here on the eve of the Division I semifinals and the Division II championship. We'll have coverage broadcasting in conjunction with the NFHS network, and the free broadcast will be released on our YouTube channel 48 hours later. Again, the only place to watch tomorrow night's game between Bedford and Nashua South is NFHSnetwork.com. We thank Coach Porter for joining us, and we welcome in our final guest, and he's ready to roll. That's Zach Matthews, now longtime head coach of the Bedford Bulldogs. He's got that group humming, the only undefeated team remaining in the Division I tournament. Coach, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. Another victory over Winnicott, seemingly by, it was by double digits, and seemingly your team was in control throughout the four quarters of that football game. I'd imagine, Coach, your team went out and executed the game plan as it was drawn up, as they've been accustomed to doing. But anything in particular that you took away from that win over Winnicott in the quarterfinals?
I mean, for us personally, our focus was coming out of the bye week, playing good football, coming out of the bye week, attacking and kind of being on fire. And I think sometimes you never know how your team's going to come out of the bye week, right? You can come out sluggish, you can come out slow, and ours was coming out and attacking and starting fast. And felt like we had a good plan, and I felt like we definitely did that. The kids were ready to go, and I think that they were hungry after having that week off and watching everybody have that playoff fun. We were excited to get back after it. So, it was a special environment. It was really mindset, and hopefully we continue that, obviously, this week.
Yeah. Coach, kind of deja vu, your team was in this same position last year, a 9-0 record, a home game in the semifinals, but unfortunately for your club, it did not go your way against Pinkerton. Do you draw on any lessons learned from that loss against the Astros in the semifinals, or is that just ancient history at this point?
No, I think that's a great lesson for our kids to learn. I think they've drawn a lot from that. I mean, we have a very experienced group. Obviously, you look at our seniors; they've been involved in semifinals, state championship games, and I think last year going undefeated in the regular season is great. But to be honest, that's not the standard we have in our program. Just getting to semifinals, and last year, Pinkerton dominated us in our place in the semifinals, and that was a very difficult process, I think, for our kids to deal with. It left a bitter taste in our mouth, and so you don't want to put anything too far ahead. But our kids have been very focused on getting back into this position, obviously, and I think that regular season records at this point don't mean anything, and our kids understand that now because of last year's experience. It really doesn't matter what your seed is. It really doesn't matter where the game is. It's a series of 1-game seasons, and it's all about this week.
Yeah. Coach, on a personal level, you've coached your son at the varsity level now the last 4 years, this season as the quarterback, as the signal caller, and as the leader of that offense. In the back of your mind, it's got to be playing out that these are the last couple of games, or potentially the last game with a loss, that you'll be able to coach your son. How do you manage those emotional feelings versus going out and executing the game plan? How do you balance the two as a father and as a head coach?
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me has always been separating the two worlds, right? Our football life really doesn't mix with our home life. And it doesn't mean that we don't talk about football at home, because obviously that happens, but it means, the two things don't really bleed into another. When we're on the football field, he's my quarterback, we're working together. And when we're at home, I'm his dad and he's my son. And so I try to treat him like the rest of my players, but in the end, of course, these are special experiences that we're sharing together. I mean, there's no better seat in the house than the one I get to watch my kid go out there and play a sport that he loves. And so that's special. But I think that I reflect on those moments after the game, when it's in game, when it's the first flying for real. I think it's just kind of focusing on the in-game adjustments and what plays we need to get into. And I think after you look back on some of the games and some of the experiences we've had together, that's where you're able to appreciate, how special it really has been. So we're, and that's a similar message to what we give to our whole team. Every game we win is just one more week we get to spend together as a team, right? And that's special as you get to this point, because it's guaranteed. So we're going to enjoy every single moment we have together as a team, because, every team is different. Year in, year out, the team changes. Some faces leave, some new ones come in, and we're going to ride this out as long as we can.
Yeah. Steve?
Down the road, when he's not playing, and unless he's playing in the NFL, of course, or professional lacrosse, you're going to look at it. You'll have a situation where you'll be having Thanksgiving dinner. You'll look across at the chair that he's sitting in, and boy, do they get special then, and you give anything to have it back. Somehow, I think that. You seem to have a great awareness of family and the power and the relationship between the father and the son. But I can tell you that day's coming, and I would go back in a heartbeat. I'll tell you, I'd go right back there, right back to junior Pee Wee, and start all over again if I could. But you can't. But you got those memories, and they're golden. So I'll leave that at that. But you seem to be a very wise man when it comes to that sort of a thing, and it reflects how you coach him on the field. I've seen you when you're not happy or not meeting expectations, and treat him just like any other player. But obviously he has the maturity and probably wants you there. So great moments for me to watch you guys together, to be perfectly honest with you. And I've never seen anybody do it any better as far as father and son. You think of the night father and son thing, a great group there. And some people just do it exemplary, and you do. Let's talk for a second about the third weapon that you have that I've been watching all year on film in the games we've done, Bryson Durso, because it's very easy to talk about the Brody Helton and the Bennett Matthews. They are arguably top of the line at their respective positions in the state, and the performance that they get out there every day, and how they use the players that work for them blocking on the line, and receivers that are blocking for them, etc. Let's talk about Bryson Durso, because to me, he's that third player that when somebody's doing well against Bennett and Brody, you seem to go to him and he performs for you. Talk about this guy for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, Bryson's one of those kids who we didn't really know what we were going to have this year, to be honest. Mm-hmm. It's difficult a lot of times to evaluate if a kid does well at the JV level and they get, a little bit of varsity time. You really never know how big of a jump they're going to make. And so sophomore to junior jump for Durso has been huge. And so we've really just week in and week out tried to get him involved in the game plan. And obviously some weeks that's a bigger piece than others. We really try to pride ourselves offensively on, taking what the defense gives us. And so a lot of times, people want to take away Brody's running game, Bennett's running game, and they want to load up the box and put bodies at the line of scrimmage. We're lucky in the fact that we have an athlete like Bryson on the outside that if you're going to give him space, right, and you're going to squeeze the box, then that's going to give us some really good situations to get him involved. And his run after the catch has been very surprising to me, meaning I always knew he was a good athlete, but you watch some of his moves this year in the open space, and he always seems to make a little bit more out of a run or out of a catch than it looks like he should get, right? And those are big yards for us where he's getting you an extra 3, he's getting you an extra 4, or maybe he's causing somebody to miss a tackle and taking one to the house that maybe you thought wasn't going to go. So certainly, in a game like tomorrow night, we're going to need players like Bryson, players like Landon Ellsmore, guys on the outside that play some of those receiver positions, Dylan Belair and some of those other guys to step up, because it's similar formula for most teams we played the past couple years. You're going to put bodies in the box. You're going to try to stop the run game. You're going to try to make things tough on Brody and Bennett. And so we know we're going to have to make some plays in the passing game. And we know we're going to have some perimeter athletes that are going to step up. And he's been just that guy for us.
He's been amazing to watch and just seems to get better and better. Seems to be very willing to block. He seems to protect the football extremely well, really well. And that's just some great features. Good. Looking forward to seeing him next year as well, never mind this year. Let's talk about the quarterback situation. You've got Van Mason, who's just done an incredible job this year. You've got Bennett Matthews. Obviously, every team is going to spend a lot of film time trying to study him, and Brody, of course, as well. And then you've got Aiden McDonald, who just now, when he's got a full healthy team behind him over there, he beats Wyndham, who had a very, very good defense and scored a ton of points on him. Let's talk about, did you watch any review of that film, the game we did on Friday night with Cody Jackson? How do you stop a guy? He looked fabulous the other night, and it seems to me that he's got some features that bring him up to the top of the list with the best of them in the league. What are your thoughts on this young man, and how do you contain and give him some trouble?
Yeah, I mean, Cody's certainly done a great job. He's paid his dues is the other thing I would say as well. I mean, he's been in there as a starting quarterback for a long time. And so typically when you see kids that have paid their dues when they were younger, right, and to be honest, where maybe the line wasn't as good, Cody has had to battle and had to make a heck of a lot of plays. And over the past 2-3 years, he's improved tremendously as a player as far as his passing skills, his accuracy, what he does with his legs. And so, he's the hub of the wheel for them. And we know there's no secret there. We're going to have to do a great job on defense. I think, to be honest, I really feel like both teams have very solid offenses. This game and every other playoff game for that matter is going to be won on the defensive side of the football, period.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to be able to handle those athletes and on the perimeter. We're going to have to be able to handle Cody's legs, and we certainly have our hands full. When we come into situations like this, we talk about it with the kids. This is what you would want. We want to have a challenge. We want a matchup that we're going to have to go out and play our best. That's why this means something. That's why this is a special opportunity. I'm getting fired up just talking about it, right? Because
you get me fired up, Coach.
we work all year long for a moment like tomorrow night, right? All year long, kids work for a moment like tomorrow night to play against a kid like Cody Jackson and the rest of the athletes they have over there. We are excited about the opportunity. But that being said, it's going to be tough, and we're going to have to make plays. And I'm sure he's going to make some plays. And we're going to have to weather the storm, and we're going to have to be consistent. And, hopefully we make a couple more plays than they do.
Coach, I'm going to we're kind of like the last opportunity to kind of do it. I want to talk about Bennett just for a second, and not because he's your son, because he's your quarterback. This guy has gone in, and obviously he was an athlete, can mold and do anything you ask, no matter what the sport, no argument there. But coming in your senior year, because you've been held off to play, and then you come in your senior year and play quarterback, and to do how he's done has been truly amazing. I think it's worth a question. What is it about this fella that makes his motor run? What is it about him? You know him better than anybody, I'm sure. What is it that just makes him, other than the obvious, just a tremendous athlete? Lay it right out to us.
No, I mean, I would tell you the thing that impresses about him is his competitive desire. I thought I was a competitive person. I always thought his mom was a competitive person. And then this young man just loves to compete and loves to lay it on the line, whether it's football, whether it's lacrosse, the opportunity to play in big moments against the best players that are out there are what he's looking for. And so that's a great opportunity for us tomorrow night in a situation like that to know that our leader is excited for a moment like that, and he looks forward to it. And so that's the thing that impresses me the most is that these are the type of games like his best is going to come out because those are the moments he lives for as a competitor. And so that's we're lucky to have a ton of kids on our team that are just like that. You know, Brody Helton, Connor Flaherty, Brennan Krause, Alex Bissonette. You know, all these guys who are seniors on this football team have played together for a long time. That intense competition, though, that competitive instinct, that competitive fire that Bennett has to keep going and to keep battling, I think is what makes him special.
Yeah, I just have to add a little bit to that. What I see is a guy that there's no such thing as mediocrity with him. If all of a sudden things just aren't going right, not playing, everybody knows, not playing up to our potential, he tends us to just do it, go out there and show it himself, and say, look, this is the level we have to play. He's been an incredible kid to watch, and I look forward to hearing about his future in lacrosse. Wish he was playing football, but I know. I know you can't do everything. So, but he has been fun to watch. And I will also say that Connor Flaherty on your team has been. Last game, he yelled up to me when we were breaking down after the video. After we did the game, he yells up, "What'd you think of that, coach?" And after a big win, and he's just a magnetic personality. Got a smile that just makes you feel good. And he's been a kid that I've watched and. As you know, I really have a special appreciation for offensive and defensive linemen. And wow, he's a house. I wish him the best of luck. He looks to me like a Division I frame. I hope he gets there, and I'll be watching him. Your thoughts on that, man? You brought him up. I'll tell you, I've had an affection for that kid right from the beginning, as far as his desire to play football.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and we all know this, right? When it comes down to games like this, is Brody and Ben and all the kids get a lot of the headlines. And I truly believe the group of kids that I work with up front, that we work with up front, my offensive line coach, Ben Gambino, was a player for me back in the day at Kearsarge. And these guys that we have up front, like Connor and Brennan Krause, have been starting since they were sophomores. They played in a state championship game against Londonderry years ago. And so all of the things we've done offensively this year, all of the special athletes and the great things that we've done, none of that would have happened without those guys up front. And so Connor's size, Connor's leadership, Connor's physicality, obviously that pops, and that's C. But some of the other guys that are 200, 205 pounds that are battling with guys Connor's size right next to him, I can't say enough. It's not easy to be an offensive or defensive lineman. It really isn't. You know that. And so I love the fact that you give those guys their credit. But tomorrow night, it is rolling athletes, but the game of football is still won and lost at the line of scrimmage. And our kids know that. That's something we prioritize in our football program day in and day out. And without that offensive line group or defensive line group, we wouldn't be half the team we are.
Well, in closing,
Coach, we're gonna have to leave it there, Coach.
All
Unfortunately, we're just about out of time. I know Steve would keep you here till midnight.
I would. But Friday night I'll see you again. So we'll look forward to it, Coach.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
great job this year with your team. Great job.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for coming on. We appreciate it, Coach. Good luck tomorrow night.
Two great coaches we talked to tonight.
Thank you, Coach. Coach Matthews giving us some great
Sorry about
stuff.
that, Nick.
No, not at all.
Getting amped up.
Great interview. Perhaps the best Coach Matthews interview I think we've had here on this show. Some good stuff.
Not bad one with Coach Porter either.
Not bad at all. We thank both Coach Porter and Coach Matthews for jumping on tonight, and we appreciate the sponsors all season long for sticking with us here. That's, of course, Beals Insurance, MG Sports Fundraising, Accurate Tree Service, Jewett Construction, and TKQB Academy. Final programming note. Tomorrow night on the air, 6:45 ahead of the 7 o'clock kick in Bedford between the Bedford Bulldogs and the Nashua South Purple Panthers. The only place to see that game live is on nfhsnetwork.com. Our free broadcast will air 48 hours later. Same deal on Saturday, 1 o'clock kick in the Division II state championship between Sauhegan and Trinity. 12:45 the pregame coverage. Again, nfhsnetwork.com, the place to watch it live. I want to thank once again Coach Porter and Coach Matthews for coming on. Coach Boquette gave us a good effort tonight, but we could not make that interview work. We wish the Sabres well tomorrow
Absolutely.
night. For Steve Beals and Ben Beals, the man behind the curtain, the wizard of replay, our director, my name is
Save
Nick
me a chair, Nick.
Saying so long. This has been FNL Gridiron presented by Beals Insurance.